If you're in a forest or woodland that's got a lot of tall, thin trees, one of the best photographic techniques you can use is to really try and accentuate those parallel vertical lines. That's what I really want to see, a bunch of lines in a row. But I'm going to show you a technique that you may not have thought of for really coming up with a slightly abstract image. So the first thing I've done is found a nice group of trees that I quite like the look of just as a normal picture. And you may as well also take a normal picture of them just in case this one doesn't work out. Now the technique that I'm going to use is to pan the camera vertically upwards as I take the picture, and that is going to introduce some motion blur. The picture is still going to be identifiable as trees, but there's going to be that additional motion element to it, and that's going to give it a really different look to most of the forest pictures that you see. Now the trick is to get sufficient blur for the effect that you're after, and unfortunately some phones and cameras will try and cleverly counteract that with stabilization or a fast shutter speed. So in order to compensate for that, I'm going to zoom in a bit. 2 or 3 times should do it, and then just start panning. So I'm going to start with the phone pointing towards the ground, and then I'm going to pan upwards in quite a fast motion. And you want to get into a rocking motion like this, a kind of constant up and down. And then you can start taking pictures. Now, you'll find that most phones have a short delay between you pressing the button and them actually taking the shot. So try pushing it down just a split second before you get to where you think you're going to want the camera. And it's important to keep panning while you press the button. We're all so careful about holding cameras still. When you push the button, it's hard to keep it moving, but you must, believe me. And you must also do quite a few of these because I'm afraid most of them are going to look pretty weird. But hopefully 1 or 2 are going to work nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the photos here, and I've not edited or looked through any of these yet, so there's going to be a couple of horrors in here. But again, it's all about the element of surprise. You may have captured something unexpected that looks better than you thought. This one's got quite a nice strip of light along the bottom, but I'm not very pleased with the composition. This one is kind of in the middle, a bit too much ground, but I do quite like the motion. This one very similar to the last, and it's a case of going through them until you find the ones that visually appeal to you. Some will have too much blur. This, however, is much more what I was after. Look how that vertical motion has blurred the trees, but they're still identifiable as being in a forest. If you show some of these pictures, they'll go, yeah, it's definitely inside a forest or a woodland, but there's something a bit different about it.